AI agents are pretty much everywhere these days, but have you ever stopped to wonder how they actually work? Turns out there's a kind of secret formula, a really simple three-step loop that powers every single one. And today, we're going to break it all down. I mean, seriously, think about it. From booking your vacation to sorting out a customer service problem, you're interacting with these agents all the time. But what's really happening under the hood? What's the fundamental logic that lets them actually get things done for you? Okay, so before we dive into that secret formula, let's just make sure we're all on the same page. When we say AI agent, what do we really mean? At its heart, an AI agent is just a system that can work on its own. It perceives its environment, it reasons about what to do next, and then it takes some kind of action to hit a specific goal. The travel agent example is perfect. It perceives your request for a flight, it reasons about the best flight options, and then it acts by booking the ticket. That's the core idea, but it's how it does this on a loop that's so incredibly powerful. Now, you might be thinking this requires some impossibly complex, super genius level code, but the truth is, the fundamental idea behind every AI agent, well, it all boils down to a simple yet really powerful three-step loop. And that brings us to the engine of it all, the core loop. Let's take a look at the blueprint. And there it is, the whole secret in one tidy little formula. An agent is just perception, plus reasoning, plus action. That's it. These three steps, done over and over and over again, are all it takes to get from a goal to a result. So let's break that down. You can see this isn't just a straight line. It's a continuous cycle. It all starts with perception, that's sensing the environment, taking in information. Then it moves to reasoning, where it actually thinks and makes a decision. And finally, it takes action. But here's the key. Notice how the outcome of that action feeds right back into the system. That's the learning part. It means the next time through the loop, the agent is just a little bit smarter. This is the engine that drives everything. All right, let's start at the beginning with step one. The easiest way to think about perception is as the agent's senses, basically its eyes and its ears. This stage is all about gathering information. Before an agent can do anything useful, it has to understand the situation it's in. Perception is just that process of taking in all the raw data from its world and trying to make some sense of it. So what kind of information is it grabbing? Well, it could be a direct command from you, a user prompt, or it could be pulling in data from other systems, reading logs or talking to other software. And of course, it's looking at its own memory, its own history for context. All of this gets fed into the agent's brain to get processed. To make this feel a little more real, let's follow a quick story. Imagine you've got an AI customer support agent. Its very first act of perception is simple. It reads the customer's complaint. That's it. It's taking in that initial signal from the world. And that's really the whole point of this stage. It's not just about collecting a bunch of random data. It's about turning a chaotic signal like an angry customer email into meaningful context that the agent can actually use to make a smart decision. Okay, so the agent has perceived the situation. It has its context. Now what? Well, that brings us to stage two, reasoning. This is the agent's brain. This is where the magic really starts to happen. The agent takes all that context it just gathered, and it starts to, think. It analyzes the situation, it weighs different possible options, and it cooks up a plan for what to do next. And this thinking can happen in a few different ways. Sometimes it's a simple rule-based decision, if this, then that. Other times it's a more complex chain of thought process to plan out multiple steps. It might need to figure out the right tool for the job, or break a huge task down into smaller, manageable pieces. So let's get back to our story. The support agent read the complaint. Now it reasons. It analyzes the text and comes to a conclusion. Okay, this is clearly a billing issue, and my rulebook says this specific type of problem can be resolved automatically. It has made a decision. So, here's the crucial takeaway. Reasoning is the bridge. It takes the meaningful context it got from the perception stage and it forges that into a concrete decision, an actual plan of what to do. So, our agent has perceived and it has reasoned. Now it's time for the final piece of the loop, stage 3, action. You can think of this as the agent's hands. This is the moment where all that internal thinking finally meets the real world. An action is any step the agent takes to execute its plan and actually make progress toward its goal. This is where it does stuff. And these actions can be incredibly varied. It could be plugging into an external tool. It could be writing new information to a database. Maybe it triggers a whole automated workflow, or maybe it's as simple as sending a quick message or a notification. And so, our customer support agent takes action. Based on its reasoning, it does two things. It calls the right tool to issue a refund, and then it sends a notification to the customer to let them know the problem is solved. Goal achieved. This line just nails it. It perfectly captures what this final stage is all about. All the perceiving and reasoning in the world is just potential. Action is the moment that intent finally gets converted into real-world impact. So let's just recap that whole flow. Perception, the senses; reasoning, the brain; and action, the hands. This incredibly simple loop running over and over again is the fundamental operating system for every single AI agent out there, from the most basic bot to the most complex system. It's how they turn our goals into reality. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question, doesn't it? We've just looked at the blueprint for a system that can perceive, reason, and act. The tools are here. So the only real question left is, what goals are we going to give them next? Thanks for tuning in.